You know how at the end of the school year, your principal or your administrator sends you a checklist of things that you must do to close out the school year? And the reason they do that is because the end of the year is closed smoothly, but they also do that to help set them up for next year clean and clear and ready to roll. So in today's video, I am sharing 4 must-dos that I think you should do before the end of the school year that will help you close out the school year strong and set you up for classroom management success in the upcoming school year. Can't wait to share it. Coming up next. Hey, teacher friends, Michelle Holiday here. I'm a behavior strategist, and I help teachers, schools, districts, and youth organizations with strategies, systems, and tips to help them manage their classrooms, learning environments, and students with less stress and less struggle. And in today's video, I am sharing 4 must-dos that I think you should do at the end of the school year that will help set you up strong for the next school year. Although this list is short, I've been practicing doing these things for a number of years and has really helped set me up for success when it comes to my classroom management in the following school years. And I really believe it is worth the effort. So let's start off with must do number 1. Review your discipline records. Now, I don't know if you were able to make it through the school year without doing a suspension or detention or do some type of disciplinary thing that required paperwork that required it to be documented. But if you did, I suggest that you gather those all together and go through it. And here's what you're looking for. You're looking for what were the type of behaviors that were showing up consistently in your classroom. You're also going to look at throughout the year, was there an increase of behaviors? Was there a season when there was very little behaviors? You want to kind of look for the pattern for that. And also consider, did these behaviors come from a select group of people, one student, or did it kind of vary across the school year? It's very important as you start to plan for the following school year. Must do number 2. You're going to ask yourself 3 key questions and then document your answer. So the first key question is, what type of behaviors were most problematic for me this school year? Whether your list was 1 or 10 behaviors, write them all down. Now, these are not just behaviors that you had to document or get administrative assistance for, but even those little in-class behaviors that you had to address on a consistent basis that was kind of challenging for you to deal with, write those down. Second question I want you to ask is, what strategies saved my school year? One thing I've seen with some teacher groups that I've been training on a consistent basis is that at the end of the school year, they get really reflective and they're like, boy, I wish I had done this. I wish I'd started doing this much earlier in the school year. And so in order for you to avoid that problem, I want you to start to say, okay, what strategies do I wish I had done that really saved me during a certain season in the school year? Go ahead and write those down. And if you want, describe how it helped or why it saved your school year. Third question. Now, this one may be tough for some of you, but it is necessary. And this third question is, how did I contribute to the behavior problems that happened in my school year? Now, whenever I'm looking at some challenging behaviors, one of the first things I do is I look at myself because I am the leader of my classroom. I am the CEO of my classroom. I am the anchor of my classroom. And it really does start with me. I'm not saying that I have total control of everything because we don't, but we still have to look within, look at our practices, look at our habits. What were some things that we may have done to add to the problem? I know for me in the past, there are times where I was not consistent. There were times where I let the little things go and it became much bigger. There are also times where I had failed to communicate my expectations too late in the school year. Whatever that looks like for you, no judgment, but write those things down. The answers that you give to these questions will really give you some powerful insight on how to improve and get stronger for next school year. Must do number 4, and I like to call it a T-chart reflection. Now, back in the days, I wrote a simple T-chart, with the cross and the down, and then I would do a category. Nowadays, I'm much more digital, so whether you use a Google Doc or Word or whatever you use, create a 2-column chart. On the left side, you're going to write what did not work, and on the right side, you're going to write what did work. And so you're going to do a brainstorm, put some music on, have a snack, and spend about 15 minutes just dumping out everything that did not work in your classroom. Don't put a filter on it, just write it down. And then on the right, you're going to spend another 10 to 15 minutes writing what did work in your classroom. You don't have to necessarily put why unless that's something you want to do as you're writing these notes, as you're jotting things down. But at the end of the activity, you're going to have some important information that you are going to need. And must do number 4, journal or document your lessons. So there's something that, you may have heard about where people say, okay, write a letter to your former self or write a letter to your younger self telling them what you have learned. I'm going to say to you, now that you're at the end of the school year, write a letter to the teacher who was at the beginning of the school year, to that teacher who was in pre-planning in that first week of school. What are some lessons that you have learned as you've gone throughout this year? Now, depending on your school year, it has been really rough, it has been medium, and then I've had some teachers say, I've had a great year. Whatever that is, what are the lessons that you learned? Go ahead and write those things down. Now, at the end of the school year, when you turn in your checklist to your administrator, they go ahead and review all the things, and then they file it away or they schedule it for an action to do, in the future after everybody leaves. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to take those 4 must-dos and you're either going to file them away for future review towards the beginning of the school year, or you're going to schedule time to work on it during the summer. I'm a really big believer that becoming a strong teacher actually starts in the summer, because a lot of times once the school year begins, you're off and running and it's difficult to stop and think. So what a great time during the summer to schedule a day or two to actually review the information and add the things that worked to your toolbox, take the things that didn't work out of your toolbox, take the lessons that you learned and say, okay, how can I implement it in the following school year? What would I do different? How would I start the year different? What would I implement throughout the year? All of those things can be taken, considered, and make you a stronger teacher for the school year to come. Yes, these 4 must-dos will take a little bit of your time and effort, but they are well worth equipping you as you continue in your teaching career. That's it for today's video. I'd love to hear what you think about the 4 must-dos, and I will see you next time.